Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 32, Sloka number 3. Tat Shraddhaya Akranta Matihi. Tat Shraddhaya Akranta Matihi. Tat Shraddhaya Akranta Matihi. Pitru Deva Vrataha Puman. Pitrudeva Vratah Puman. Pitrudeva Vratah Puman. Gatva Chandramasam Lokam. Gatva Chandramasam Lokam. Gatva Chandramasam Lokam. Somapaha Punaha Eshyati. Somapa Punareshyati. Somapa Punareshyati. Tachraddhaya Krantamatihi. Pitrudeva Vratah Puman. Gatva Chandramasam Lokam. Somapah Punareshyati. Tachraddhaya Krantamatihi. Pitrudeva Vratah Puman. Gatva Chandramasam Lokam. Somapah Punareshyati. Krantamatihi. Pitrudeva Vratah Puman. Shantamatam Lokam. Somapah Punareshyati. Tashraddhaya Krantamatihi. Puman. Gatva Chandramasam Lokam. Somapah Punareshyati. Tashraddhaya Krantamatihi. Pitrudeva Vratah Puman. Gatva Chandramasam Lokam. Somapah Punareshyati. Synonyms. Tat, to the demigods and forefathers. Shraddhaya, with reverence. Akranta, overcome. Matihi, his mind. Pitru, to the forefathers. Deva, to the demigods. Vrataha, his vow. Puman, the person. Gatva, having gone. Chandramasam, to the moon. Lokam, planet. Somapaha, drinking soma juice. Punaha, again. Eshyati, will return. Translation given by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Such materialistic persons attracted by sense gratification and devoted to the forefathers and demigods can be elevated to the moon, where they drink and extract the soma plant. They again return to this planet. Please repeat the translation. Such materialistic persons attracted by sense gratification and devoted to the forefathers and demigods can be elevated to the moon, where they drink an extract of the soma plant. They again return to this planet. Purport given by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. The moon is considered one of the planets of the heavenly kingdom. One can be promoted to this planet by executing different sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literature, such as pious activities in worshipping the demigods and forefathers with rigidity and vows. But one cannot remain there for a very long time. Life on the moon is said to last 10,000 years according to the calculation of the demigods. The demigods' time is calculated in such a way that one day, 12 hours, is equal to 6 months on this planet. It is not possible to reach the moon by any material vehicle like a Sputnik. But persons who are attracted by material enjoyment can go to the moon by various pious activities. In spite of being promoted to the moon, however, one has to come back to this earth again when the merits of his works in sacrifice are finished. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.21. Tetam duktva swargaloka vishalam shine punye matyalokam vishanti. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Namo Vishnupadhaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkupatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Here Lord Kapila is describing about the heavenly planets, especially moon planet. So moon planet is also one of the part of the heavenly kingdom. So one can be elevated to that heavenly planet by the kind of punya they perform. If they have sufficient punya, then they go to that heavenly planets and enjoy higher standards of material sense gratification. So what we enjoy in this earthly planet, sense gratification, same thing will be there on heavenly planets also, to higher grade. Just like in earthly planets, different variations are there. There are some poor countries where material happiness is to one extent. And if you go to rich countries like America, standards of happiness are much higher. So similarly, in the heavenly planets, much higher happiness will be there. So they also drink an extract of soma plant. And it's a part of enjoying the material sense gratification in the heavenly planets. But after their piety, their punya is consumed, they again fall back to the lower planets. Kshine punye matyalokam vishanti. So in this material world, wherever we go, sense gratification is available, and also it is temporary. So this sense gratification is the goal of the many people. They live for that kind of happiness. People who are ignorant of spiritual knowledge. It is said in Bhagavatam, Nyonam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya priti napurnoti. So when a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, if his aim of life is only sense gratification, then he certainly become mad after the materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. So people who make the sense gratification goal of life, they become mad and they perform ultimately all kinds of sinful activities. Currently, we are seeing war between America and Iran. So if you clearly observe from the eyes of Shastras, so this war is based on sense gratification. So America is a richest country. They want fuel, many things for production in their companies, which ultimately supply for their sense gratification, comforts of living. So they want to maintain that supply without fail. And they want all countries in the world to hear to their words. They want to keep all countries in their control. So ultimately they want all countries to hear to their words. So but some countries are not hearing, and then they want to make them hear by force or any other means. And the big war started, and then things are happening. We are all seeing. So because of this entire world, if you see, there are some challenges are facing. On the other side, Iran also want to maintain power. They want to establish their religion rule in their country. Eventually, in entire world also. Again, the goal is establish rule, control over the kingdom, over the country, and entire world, based on religion. The goal of religion is just get the power. So this called Bhagavatam tells us Kaitava dharmas at any cost. So people who opposed that Iran rule in their own country, many people are killed. Some, statistics says they killed actually some 30 to 40,000 their own citizens who asked for freedom from this kind of religion rule. And the people are struggling there. And then that kind of rule, eventually they want to establish more and more in entire world. Previously, Iran is not like that. It's little more open. But now it is changed totally. So ultimately, both the people wants sense gratification and control. Sense gratification leads to lording over tendency. So sense gratification leads to lording over tendency. Somebody wants to enjoy more and more, more and more. He thinks everything belongs to me. Everybody has supply for my sense gratification. Pumsastriya maituniya bhavametam tayor mida hriday gandhi mahu. Attraction between the two genders eventually turns out to be, I want property, land, money. Ultimately, janasamohoyam ahammameti. So that will establish strongly the false ego in the consciousness of the people. So sense gratification, lording over tendency, finally false ego. So this very powerful, this phenomena of sense gratification, it will destroy not only individuals but entire society also. It will make people mad and make them to commit any kind of sinful activities. So in the scriptures, there is one story of Yayati. So Yayati is a king. before that Sarmishta and Devayani were there. Sarmishta is the daughter of one demon king, Rituparna, and Devayani is the daughter of Shukracharya. Shukracharya is the Rajaguru. And both these girls along with their friends, they go for a bath in the forest. After bathing, Sarmishta, who is the daughter of the king, unknowingly wears the dress of Devayani. She becomes very angry. She is very egoistic. She tells, how you can wear my dress? I am more elevated than you, upper grade than you. Like that, she calls very badly. And she is Kshatriya girl. Kshatriyas cannot able to accept insult. You see, Dhruva also cannot able to accept the insult of the mother. Okay. So similar tendency. And what she does, she becomes very angry and she throws her into well, an old well. And they all go away. Then Yayati comes and he happens to see Devayani in the well and he helps her. He holds her right hand with his right hand and then takes her out. And Devayani directly goes to the father Shukracharya and she did Abhishekam to the feet of Shukracharya with her tears. She cries, this is what happened to me. And she doesn't tell actual story. Her version of story she tells. This was general people tendency. Reality may be different, but people tell their version. So ultimately, Shukracharya is very much attached to the daughter and he becomes very angry. And then he asks, what do you want? And she tells, this daughter of this king should become her maid servant, along with all her servants, 1,000 servants. Otherwise, I don't want to be with you in this kingdom. Like that and all, she makes statements. Then finally, Shukracharya calls the king. And then he tells the king that I don't want to be in your kingdom. I want to go away. If you go away like that, we'll become very weak. If Guru is not there, there's no protection for the kingdom. You cannot go like that. Please tell me what to do. What can I do to please you? He tells, no, you should please my daughter. And she tells that your daughter should become a maid servant. And he accepts. Okay. So like that, she becomes a maid servant of that Devayani. Again, one day, this hero, Yayati, comes, happens to see Sharmishta, a servant of this Devayani. She is very beautiful. And he falls in love with Sharmishta. This Devayani observes. She becomes envy, again egoistic. How this king can love her? I am there, very beautiful. And if she happens to marry this king, she becomes queen, then she cannot be maid servant again. Then she goes to king and tells, actually once you caught hold of my right hand, that means panigrahana. So you are my husband. He becomes surprised. No, this is not correct. No, this against the dharma, Bhagavad principles. Kshatriya cannot marry a Brahman woman. He want to avoid her. Then again she goes to the Shukracharya, again cries before him. And Shukracharya comes and tells, you have to marry my daughter. That's it. And if does not, he'll curse him. He becomes very fearful, then he agrees. And he also tells, Shukracharya tells, that you have to marry my daughter Devayani, but should not maintain any connection with Sharmishta. Like that, he puts a condition. So nothing can be done. King finally agrees, he marries. And then she is having 2 children also, Devayani. But Sharmishta feels that her womanly life is not complete without children. She goes to the king and requests for children. And she also begets children. 3 children she begets. One day Devayani comes. He happens to see, gets surprised. How come you're having 3 children? Up to now you are, Kanya only. She tells that when Rishi came, out of his tapasya, he gave 3 children to me. Devayani's father can able to revive, people who died. For her, these things are normal only. So she just accepts it may be possible like that. Then after some time, again she comes to the Sharmishta and 3 children are there. That time happened to be Sharmishta is there and Yayati also there. And when she sees these 3 sons clearly, their features are similar to Yayati. She gets doubt and she goes and asks Sharmishta and Yayati, who are the parents of these children? They are silent. They are not speaking. Then she asks children, who are your parents? Then 3 of them show the Sharmishta and then Yayati, other parents. Then she becomes upset. Again she goes to Shukracharya. Again does Abhishekam to his lotus feet with her tears. And see, you told not to marry and have connection with Sharmishta, but he did that. Sri Sri Radha Govinda ki. Then they are afraid, Sharmishta and Yayati. They also follow her towards Shukracharya. Shukracharya, out of anger, he curses Yayati that you become old and invalid. He becomes old and invalid. He's a powerful king. He's not so old also. He becomes old immediately, suddenly. Then this Devayani, who is the daughter of Shukracharya, she is silent. No feelings. Husband has become an old person. Father, knowing unknowingly out of anger, he cursed her. She is not having any repentance. Because Sharmishta is actually feeling very bad. My husband has become like that. So her distress is happiness to her. It's all full ego. So then this Yayati is very intelligent. And he tells to the Shukracharya that, see, my desire towards your daughter is still not completed. I want to take care of your daughter nicely. By hearing those words, Shukracharya comes to senses and tells, okay, there is a way to come out of this curse. You have to go to your sons and ask for their youthhood. If anybody ready to give the youthhood, then you will come out of your old age. And whenever you want to give back, you can give back that youthhood to the son. And one more important thing he tells, whoever accepts to give their youthhood to you, you should give back your kingdom. Then he goes to his sons. Devayani is having 2 sons, and then Sharmishta is having 3 sons. So he goes to them. First son is Yadu. And he asks for his youthhood. And he tells everybody has to suffer their own diseases and everything. And then if I give like this, people will mock at me. I cannot give my youthhood to you. Then he curses him that you cannot become king. Then he goes second son of Devayani, Turvasu. And he tells that I am very fearful at the weakness of body and mind in old age. I cannot give my youthhood to you. And he curses, you cannot become king of my kingdom. You will become actual king of tribals. That's it. Then he goes to the first son of Sharmishta. His name is Druhyu. And he tells that I am fearful of losing the ability to enjoy chariots, palaces, horses, women. I cannot give my youthhood. He becomes angry, Yayati, and curses that you will become king of fishermen. That's it. Not my kingdom. And he goes to the 4th son, the second son of Sharmishta, Anu. He also refuses. Then he tells that all your descendants will die in youthhood only. Nobody will grow old also. And finally he goes to the Puru, the last son of Sharmishta, and he agrees. I have to follow the orders of my superiors and I'll accept it. So then he blesses, you will become king of my kingdom, and he takes his youthhood, and 1,000 years, for 1,000 years he enjoys so much sense gratification. After doing that much sense gratification also, still not satisfied. Still not satisfied. Still more and more, dissatisfaction, distress, all these things are there. Misery is so many things. Then he realizes this is not the right thing. There will be no end for the sense gratification. So then he gives the youth back to his son Puru. He is the actually ancestor of these Kurus, Pandavas and Kurus. And he goes to a forest and does tapasya for thousands of years, severe tapasya. And he attains sufficient punya to go to heavenly kingdom, Indra's planet. From there he goes to Brahmaloka also. Kalpas he lives there. And again comes back to the planet of Indra. And while having discussion, Indra gets surprised. You are such a great personality. How can you can come to the Indraloka and Brahmaloka and again Indraloka? And he tells, I did great tapasya. Great tapasya. Very egoistically tells. Nobody can do tapasya like me. Not even Rishis, Devatas, Rakshas, nobody, Kinnaras, Kimpurish, nobody can do. Because he has become so egoistic and offended the great personalities. Again he falls down. Here he requests very intelligently, Indra, please forgive me. Show me some planet other than Earth planet. Then he gives the place in one Nakshatra Mandala where his ancestors are there, his descendants are there. Then by talking dharma to them, they become very much pleased. They are also great personalities. By their association, again, he becomes elevated. You see, sense gratification, and then finally leading to ego problems. So we need to be very careful in our spiritual life to indulge in this kind of sense gratification. So here it is told in the Bhagavad Gita, the famous slokas are in the second chapter. Dhyato Vishyan Pumsan Sangasteshu Upajayate. Dhyato Vishyan. So mind always want to ponder upon sense objects. Sense objects. Sense object means for the eyes, some beautiful videos, pictures. For tongue, some foods, all these things. They are sense objects. And mind always, hanker for the sense objects. When it becomes attracted, when it thinks again and again, contemplation, dhyato vishyan pumsan, contemplation, that's very dangerous. Then it develops lust, and then, leads to the sequence of forgetting the knowledge, buddhinasha, panashyati, it leads to fall down finally. So to control sense gratification, this is one very important aspect. We need to stop thinking over again and again on material objects. So much involved in thinking and doing some material things, then senses become uncontrolled. Uncontrolled. So if you want to control the senses, so the most powerful sense is the tongue. So that has to be controlled. Vacho Vegam. Tongue, belly and genital, they should be controlled. Eventually they'll be controlled. The tongue is controlled. How the tongue will be controlled? By not eating unnecessary foods and then excess foods. Atyahara has to be controlled. And fastings, we do fastings on Ekadashi and festival days. More and more, one can practice. to bring the tongue in control. If that is done, then eventually every sense will come in control. Okay. So that's the best way. Tongue has to be controlled. Only prasadams, and also observing the regulations of fastings as much as possible. So that will help immediately to bring the sense in control. And here Kapila Muni is telling that to his mother Devahuti, that association of holy people cuts attachment to sense objects. By hearing the spiritual topics, mind naturally loses its taste for Lord's pleasures. So by being in devotees association, satsanga, continuously, and hearing Krishna Katha, spiritual knowledge, one automatically loses taste for the lower pleasures and cuts the attachment to this material world. So association matters very much. Even though in association, we need to engage all our senses in a proper Krishna conscious way. We have Naveda Bhakti, Shavanam, here, Kirtanam, glorify Lord with tongue, Padasevanam, doing service to devotees. So if we do these things more and more, so senses are fully occupied. Their working senses are there, and then Jnanendriyas also there. Okay, they are fully occupied in Krishna's service, in Krishna consciousness. In that way, senses will come in control. So Ambarish Maharaj tells a wonderful way to control the sense and spiritual life. Even in devotees association also sometimes there will be problems of sense gratification. So then the only solution is that, so along with maintaining of association sincerely and hearing spiritual topics, one has to engage this senses in service of Lord. So Ambarish Maharaj tells wonderful way how he engages his mind, his senses. Savai mana Krishna padara vinda yoho. So mind, by always meditating a lotus feet of Krishna's, Lord Krishna's, padara vinda yoho. Then words, how he controls his tongue and words is that Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanu Varnanoyam, always glorifying of Vaikunta, abode of Lord, non-different from the Lord. Abode means the Vaibhav of the Lord there. So glorifying the Krishna Leelas, Krishna pastimes. And hands, how he engages hands? Karo Harer Mandir Majjanadishu. So cleaning the temple hall or Lord's pots, vessels. So in this way, engaging the hands fully in the Krishna service. And then ears, how he engages ears is that Shrutim Chakarachyuta Satkatodaye. So Achyuta Katha, always hearing the Krishna Katha continuously from the devotees, and by reading, by various ways and means, hear the Krishna Katha. So in this way, he engages his ears. And then eyes, how the eyes he engages? Mukunda Lingalaya Darshana Drishav. So by having darshan of the Mukunda Alaya, so deity in the temple. So have wonderful darshan of the deity, spend time in seeing and meditating upon the beautiful form of the Lord, how wonderful the Lord is, his eyes, his dress, and his decoration. Okay. So like this, meditating on the darshan of the Lord, and sense of touch, how he engages, tad bhutya gatra sparshe anga samaga sangamam. That means by serving the devotees, by serving the Lord. In this way, he engages his sense of touch in service of Lord and devotees. Then smell, granam cha tatpada saroja saurabe Srimad Tulasaya Rasanam Tadarpite. So by enjoying the fragrance of the lotus flower offered to the lotus feet of Lord, and then Tulasi, which is offered to Lord at the lotus feet. So by fragrance of that, he controls that tendency of smell. That's why engages in service of Lord. And legs, Pado Hare Kshetra Padanusparshane. So legs, one more sense, that is working sense, by walking towards temple. And then head, Siro Harikesha Padabhivandane. Okay. So by offering obeisance to Lord. In this way, fully engaged. Fully engaged. And any desires come, Kama Chadasyena Natu Kama Kamayaya. All his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Okay. So in this way, first one has to start contemplation. So what are the various means of contemplation? The food for contemplation is that even though we are living in temple, so various mobiles, various people, various hearing from different kinds of people, we get food for our senses. So we need to stop at that level only. Once it starts contemplation, nobody can stop. Very, very difficult. So one has to stop at the level of contemplation only. Then one should be in association devotees continuously and hear, and also engage all the senses, working senses and mind, everything continuously 24 hours in service of Lord. So this is the way one can actually able to bring the senses in control by engaging in service of Lord, thus developing higher taste. If not done, so this will make us mad, and then it leads to many kinds of sinful activities and fall down from the level of Krishna consciousness and lording over tendency. Everything we want to control, this kind of tendencies. And finally, developing ego. Janasya mohoyam aham mameti. I am this. This is mine. So this kind of egoist feelings will develop more and more. Just like we're seeing how this Devayani is so egoistic. Finally, she lost her kingdom to Sharmishta because Sharmishta's son became the king. She became the mother of the king Rajamata, and Devayani place is displaced. So ego destroys everything. Sharmishta, you see, to one sense, to one level, she followed, she's humble, followed the father's order, and then she lived like a servant. Finally, she became victorious. And then Yayati also, even after attaining the heavenly kingdom, higher planets, out of ego, offending the great personalities, others, he fell down immediately. Again, by association of some great personalities, he could be able to elevate himself. So in this way, sense gratification is very detrimental for the Krishna consciousness. Although those tendencies are there very strongly in us, We need to try our best in this kind of ways and means of Krishna consciousness, fully engage ourselves 24 hours a day continuously, and then be in association with devotees. And contemplation has to be stopped. Okay. So with this, we will conclude. Any questions, clarifications? Sri Sri Radha Govinda ki, Hitaya Gauranga ki, Lakshmi Nasinde Bhagwan ki, Vishwaguru Shila Prabhupada ki.